I put 7 cozy games to the test in the 2024 Steam Cozy and Family Friendly Games Celebration. I played each demo for about 30 to 45 minutes, and I'll let you know which came out on top. Spoiler alert, my top 2 games completely surprised me, and one of my initial top picks ended up being at the bottom of my list. Let's take a look at the games. The first game in the bunch is Ova Magica, which can be best described as Stardew Valley and Harvest Moon meet Pokemon and Moonstone Island. It's part cozy RPG and farming sim with the added twist of a monster taming aspect, except the monsters are adorable bouncing blob creatures that you can befriend, train, and challenge other Clovertown residents in battles. In fact, the game even has a massive stadium where these battles can take place. During the tutorial, I chose an egg, hatched it, and met my new blob companion Odin, and then immediately sent the poor guy into battle, and won. Odin and I then headed to our newly inherited farm and planted our first crops, and ended the day by exploring the rather expansive town area and meeting residents. Ova Magica has an impressive cast of characters and relationships that are influenced by your conversation choices and gifting. You can chat or battle anyone that you meet. There is also a blob breeding area where you can grow unique hybrid blobs, and activities like fishing, bug catching, and resource expeditions to embark upon. The monster taming mechanic is my favorite aspect of Ova Magica and has a nice touch of excitement and delicious hoarding of creatures. Yes, I have a problem with this. Thanks, Pal World. Although Ova Magica is incredibly cute, the lengthy dialogue, simplistic graphics, and predictable farming tasks just didn't captivate me as I had hoped, so I'm still unsure about it at this stage of development. Game 2 is Urban Jungle, a casual, relaxing, decorating, and organizing game themed around plants. It reminds me of Unpacking and A Little to the Left, as there is a very engaging puzzle element of placing the plants in just the precise spot with the proper humidity, lighting, and compatible neighboring plants. And the nice thing is, as you maneuver a plant around the room, the point value changes, guiding you to the most optimal placement. You can also consult your plant book for detailed plant information, and there's a fun journal to peruse as well. Once the plants are placed, a prompt appears allowing you to choose new plants from provided categories. You can opt for the free base plant or use your lily flowers to purchase different plant varieties. Lilies are earned through completing tasks such as petting the cat or moving items about the room, though some of the tasks I was given didn't pertain to the items I could even find in the room, so that needs a bit of work still. The demo consisted of 2 rooms, which I completed in under a half hour, and I was disappointed when the game ended, so that's quite telling. The happy, cozy aesthetic, relaxing music, and delightful lighting combined with the puzzle element of placing plants in optimal spots about the room was simply awesome. And when I discovered I could zoom in, turn the camera, and travel to different rooms in the home, I was overflowing with joy. This is the type of game I would love to leave open on my computer just for the ambiance and tinker with the plants on a cozy Sunday afternoon. In case it's not obvious, I love Urban Jungle. Game number 3 is SunnySide, a Japanese RPG/farming and dating sim that was incredibly surprising. First of all, the character customization is phenomenal. You have a bazillion ways to shape, accessorize, and colorize your character, and you can adjust the difficulty and coziness level of the gameplay. You begin by finding yourself in Japan, on your way to a rural town named SunnySide, and are destined to blaze your trail of independence by creating a homestead. Sounds pretty cliche, right? Well, here's where the devs begin shaking things up with a completely modernized feel as you're messaging your sister on your very realistic smartphone and subsequently participate in a blind land auction to secure your new property, only to discover it has no home and a macho hottie Marlboro man named Gabriel begins to help you out by pitching a tent and cooking you lunch. You can explore and take the bus to the city or run into town to get your cracked phone screen fixed and fuel up in the vending machines. There are so many people to meet, form relationships with, and to help you start your farm and build a house. And your future house location is set next to a gorgeous scenic river, by the way. There are tools in the shed to karate chop the weeds and even a hose for watering. The game has a ton of depth and content, from uncovering villager stories to figuring out how to create your own homestead without any farming or construction knowledge. The maps of the town and city seemed quite large, with lots of shops and homes to visit, and although the art style isn't the typical vibrant cartoon style I'm used to, I quite enjoyed the calm, stylized graphics. There were times, however, that I felt the dialogue was excessively wordy for my thin patience, though the context seemed to be richer than typical RPGs. SunnySide is a very social game. I also noticed that the game ran a bit choppy at times, so I do have slight concerns about performance. But I didn't want to stop playing, and I left with a feeling that SunnySide had succeeded in rejuvenating the run-of-the-mill farming and life sim formula. SunnySide is actually set to release on PC this month and later this summer on Xbox and PlayStation, and it will be a 1.0 launch and not early access, which is also refreshing. If you like English countrysides and cozy designing, then you simply must add Tiny Glade to your wish list. This is basically digital aesthetic Lego. Tiny Glade is a sandbox with towers, buildings, scrolling walls, hills, flowers, cottage windows, and rustic lighting in your toolkit. The demo provides a charming little building area where you can build the cozy castle of your dreams, complete with adorable little sheep wandering about. I had a most enjoyable time tinkering with the tools and seeing what structures would result. The demo does restrict players to a tiny plot of land, but the full game will have expanded acreage as well as new biomes, tools, and decor. Tiny Glade satisfies so many of my desires in a cozy game. It's relaxing, easy to play, has a beautiful aesthetic, and most importantly, it allows your creativity to flourish. Plus, the photo mode has a plethora of options, including adjusting the time of day and light angle, making for spectacular screenshots. My main complaint is there is no easy way to rotate objects unless you fully spin your camera, and achieving symmetry is rather tedious without any measuring or aligning tools. And I will note that the simply gorgeous art comes at a cost. It made my computer prep for its launch to the moon, and the game yelled at me for not updating my GPU drivers. I know, that's a me problem. But like Urban Jungle, Tiny Glade is like food for the soul, and it's a wonderful game if you just want to relax and create. As much as I like it, I do wonder how long it will hold my attention since there are no goals to achieve or new items to unlock. If they would add creatures and people to live in the buildings, I think that would add a superbly interesting layer to an already endearing game. Campervan Make It Home is our 5th game, and in this one you begin with an adorable little Volkswagen-style van that's been converted into a tiny home. You can drop the walls of the van and see the empty spaces inside, which you have to cleverly fill with all of your belongings being nestled like puzzle pieces into the crevices. My game began very zen-like, and I was enjoying the pastel color palette and minimalist vibes of the camper van as I began to transform it into my personalized home. However, I quickly started to struggle with manipulating the objects, and I couldn't figure out how to deselect and switch item categories or to get one of the cabinets to close. And after about 20 minutes, I gave up and I piled items all over the counters and spilling out into the yard. Not knowing what items you're going to pull out next makes placing prior objects very tricky, and some things I just didn't know what the heck they were, like this thingy that would only fit in the sink. In the end, I did unpack everything into my camper van in the lawn, but it looked like an episode of Hoarders, though closing the van did help hide the mess. I dig the chill vibes, the serene environment, the cute graphics, and minimalist nomadic lifestyle that Campervan is offering. But I simply just don't have the patience for this one. It was frustrating rather than relaxing for me, which was disappointing because I really thought this would be one of my top picks. I will be keeping my eye on Campervan though, because it might change a lot between now and its release, and I really don't want to give up hope on this game because it's super cute. Game 6 is a farming and life sim that sprinkles in a bit of nonfiction with its focus on factual plant identification, herbal remedy crafting, and creating actual recipes. Out and About is a game I actually backed on Kickstarter but had not yet played the demo. The plot in Out and About is a bad storm has hit your childhood coastal town, and you are tasked with helping the villagers recover by utilizing your plant knowledge to nurse the community back to health. The full game will include sustainable farming, crafting 150 real recipes, and identifying over 90 actual plants. I can see this being quite appealing to gardeners and nature lovers. The graphics are pleasing to the eye, the character customization options are superb, and the little skip animation the character occasionally includes is just delightful. However, the demo consisted of what felt like busy work as I explored the small forest area, searching for plants, identifying them using fact cards, and then harvesting the leaves and flowers. It was just a lot of clicking that really didn't feel purposeful. I wanted to go into town, begin fixing up a home, and crafting recipes and farming crops to gift to the hungry villagers. But there's just not enough here yet to fully grasp the true feel of Out and About. Though I do think that the educational aspect, as well as cooking real recipes and creating a no-till veggie and herb farm, sounds exciting. So I did enjoy it, but with just this little tidbit of content, it can't quite skip into my love category just yet. Our final game demo is Gourdlets, a pixel-style city builder that's basically an idle game, as you can make it full screen or shrink it and watch your little veggie folk bobble about as you get actual work completed. Like Tiny Glade, Gourdlets is a sandbox-style builder. Choose a biome, add houses, landscaping, paths, substrate, and decorations, and then call in the train and watch your little gourds arrive. They'll fish, interact with objects, and even go inside the homes, which you get to unpack and decorate, by the way. There's no currency or item cost to worry about, and there's no wrong way of creating your village. Just cute decorations to place and colorful gourdlets meandering about. You can customize the color of your gourdlets as well as the furniture too. Now the graphics of Tiny Glade are way more appealing in my opinion. But watching my city come alive with little pixel gourdlets is very satisfying and made me want to keep watching them and creating new areas for them to hang out. Gourdlets is a lighthearted little game with happy vibes and a creative outlet for designing. But without actual goals, I'm not sure if I'd play this long term, but I like it. So, which games came out on top? My top two picks are SunnySide and Urban Jungle, with Tiny Glade a close third, followed by Out and About and Gourdlets. These games had an attractive art style, enjoyable gameplay, and most importantly, they grabbed my attention and motivated me to keep playing within the first 30 minutes. That leaves us with Ova Magica and Campervan. These aren't bad games at all, they just didn't captivate and entertain me like the other games did, at least at this stage of development. I never want to be negative about any game, especially indie games, because they're produced by small studios on limited budgets, and they are obviously someone's labor of love. So please wishlist those you like, and keep in mind that some games will change significantly between now and release, and of course, these are simply just my own silly opinions. Let me know in the comments which of these 7 games you are most excited about, and I thank you so much for watching.